All right, guys, so before we get into this video, I just want to let you know I do have a free Blender Octane community. Links down in the description. Premium members get videos like this where I respond to their questions, or you get a little bit more close access to me and files and assets and materials and plugins and all kinds of other goodies. So enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get into this video, how to save more space. All right, guys, so we're in my Octane community, and I got a great question here that I want to answer and for everybody. So in this problem, he has render and optimization. I'm rendering an animation, and this is my settings. 4K rendering with 600 samples. How can I make the frame size smaller? First frame is 44 megabytes. Is that normal? Please let me know if anyone knows of how to reduce the render size. Now, if I come in here and look at your render settings, I see that you are using PNGs with an alpha channel, 16-bit color, and you're compressing it at 90%. So you're actually downgrading it. You're compressing it, right? One thing I notice here is you're not using Octane's output, which I recommend using Octane's output. And I recommend not using PNGs for any type of animation, especially you're losing quality, and then you're even compressing it even more to even lose more quality. I suggest checking this box, Octane renders, or even just using EXRs here, either or. I recommend using EXRs. And the reason why I say that, if I bring over here, I jumped into Blender. Let me quickly show you my settings for the animations that I'm doing right now. Here is a little robot that I was working on from a tutorial. And if you look at my settings, first of all, I just reset this up so you can see it. But typically, I always put this in video mode, MPEG H.264. I just leave it as a video from Blender's default output. Then I enable Octane output, and then I leave all of this here set, and then I set it to, typically I'm on multi-layered, but in this case, because I have multiple passes, I have a denoise pass, I have a non-denoise pass, and then I have a post-processing with blur and glare and all kinds of, I have 3 different passes all stored in one file versus your PNG, which is just one single file. Get what you see here. I have multiple layers, but as far as size wise, I'm using EXR multi-layer, 16-bit float, holds way more data, linear, and then I'm doing a compression of DWA losses at 45%. Now, what does this mean? So if I quickly show you the file size difference, I just rendered out one frame. So here is my EXR frame. Now it is in linear. So yeah, whatever. We won't get into that right now. But here is, oh no, this is the PNG. Sorry, this is the PNG. Here it is. Again, you see what you get, and that's what you get. And if I click on this, and if you go here into my, let's scroll that over. If we come over here, PNG file, 1.7 megabytes. Okay. And I'm not doing it. I'm doing it 1080 by 1360. Now, the same image, if I double click on this, here's the same image. It looks wrong because we're seeing it in linear format, and our monitors are not calibrated to show linear. So I will literally just take this in DaVinci Resolve, add a color space transform on it, put it to sRGB, and it'll look exactly the same, which I'm not going to do in this video. But I get way more data as far as exposure and darkness and luminosity range, way more. But most importantly, look at this. I have, look at my hair. So again, look at my size for this one file, 950 kilobytes. Again, versus the PNG, which is 1.7 megabytes, I have 95 kilobytes, not even 1 megabyte, and it holds more data. Let me quickly show you what I mean. So I'm inside DaVinci Resolve, and I've got both files here. Here's our PNG, and now we can see this on the vector, on the parade scale here. Here is the reading, right? Now here's our PNG, and then here is our EXR. And you notice we lose a lot. Like, you're like, why would I want to use it? This actually looks horrible. But check this out. If I come in here, and then I add in if I come over here and go to color space, so I can give it the proper color space so our monitors can read it. And I'm going to come in here, and this is an sRGB linear raw file, which it shows us in sRGB linear. Okay, that's what this is in linear. Now, it opens it up. So basically, here we can see the difference. It opens it up, but I got more data that's even still available to me. If I click this, use NATs, and then crank this all the way up. Now, if I come over here and just grab my gamma, and let's see, make sure I'm on the right one here. Gamma. If I gamma up here a little bit and just wait for a moment, there's my GPU kicking in. If I grab my gamma, you can just see how much I can improve on the brightness of this. Look at this. Look how much range I have. Look how much range I have. Look, and even if I pull it down, darkness, look how dark I can go, right? This is the magic of EXR linear workflows, right? So I got so much more range as far as, of course, I'm pushing a little bit too far out of the range, right? But okay, let's just at least try to match this. So you can see here, this is our top range here. If I come in here, I probably put too much gamma into it. It's going to bring the gamma down just a little bit more, right? It's going to bring the gamma down. Even the gamma is even lower here, but I have more range, so we don't have to go that low. We can go something like that. And I can probably even pull up my gain a little bit more, right? Still looking better than that. But that's the point of this. Like, I have so much more control. You have so much more lighting. Look at this is all blown out here. When I do this, I get way more dynamic range. Absolutely fantastic. And if I was to come here and do the same on this, and we start pulling this up, it gets brighter. It gets brighter, right? But it gets brighter. Let's go all the way to the top. There it is. If I come here, it gets brighter. It gets brighter. It gets brighter. It gets brighter. It still looks pretty decent. See the difference there? See how we're losing all that data back there? But look, when I go here, we're still maintaining some data. So that's just a quick little crash course of why I always do EXRs. Like, I do not do PNGs for anything, basically ever since I started working in EXRs, I really don't. I just use EXRs all the time. And I just bringing them into DaVinci Resolve, doing this quick little step, and it's this night and day difference. So hope that helps. That's how I would do and fix the issue that you're having with your file size being larger. It's like, use an EXR, you get smaller files and you get more data. So hope that helps. Peace.